Hi everyone, I am McDices. Hey, it's been a while since we did one of these. This is Labyrinth of the Demon King. I want to do a speedrun explained of it, where I explain the speedrun and how it works. That being said, recently I've also decided I wanted to learn a bunch of new games. Starting around maybe about a week ago from this video probably, I wanted to learn 30 new games, and I've been learning them, so I found some pretty cool stuff, and this is one of them. Anyway, what's this game? It's a new game that came out. It's kind of like King's Field meets Japan. And we'll learn more about that, and it has some interesting tech. Now, just a few things to mention. A lot of the tech that you might see in, like, let's say, the really good runs, like the world record, this game has some issues with the down patch, so I'll go over that when we get there. This will be on the current patch, so if you're looking for, like, a regular guide for this game, congratulations. Everything I do with this video will work. Anyway. Yeah, no, we're gonna start. There's an auto splitter, and, it's pretty straightforward. Now, before we begin, there is a very important setting. I have it on 120 just because it feels right. But the setting you want to have, my interact is on scroll wheel, right? I put my interact on the scroll wheel. I'm interacting, I'm scrolling. As well, I have the pause button on R. The reason why is because you're going to need to skip a lot of door animations. I think tab also works, but you want to make sure you have these quick. Also, just know the buttons as soon as you played the game before. Anyway, without further ado, let us begin. Labyrinth of the Demon King. Alrighty. So, the game's pretty easy. The first few minutes is literally just walking to the arena. In fact, this is the tutorial. So, congratulations. If you know how to play the game, you skip the tutorial, and then guess what? You leave. There you go. So the beginning of the game is just walking to A and B, so we can kind of go over what this game is, stuff like that. I kind of mentioned it, but this game is Japanese King's Field. And yes, hello to YouTube. It even work? No, I saved that, man. At the beginning of the game, you are running down to the end. I don't really think, like, you know, between sprinting and hopping it matters too much. There's no stamina system in that way. There is a stamina system, but it doesn't really get impacted that way. But you just want to follow the road to go into this cave. You try going off the beaten road too much, you're gonna kind of go out of the way. So try to go as straight as you can in these areas. It should also be mentioned, I play this game on keyboard and mouse, but that's because whenever I play games, like, first person, I always like being keyboard and mouse. That being said, you do want to have a mouse for this game, because one of the major tricks will require that. You may have noticed there's a cutscene. That's why I put this the pause button on R. Do be careful not to pause the game too much, though, because that is going to, you know, have problems later. Now, I know a lot of what I'm talking about right now doesn't sound like a whole lot. This game's going to go from, like, just kind of walking forward to a lot. We're just kind of in the tutorial right now. It's a good scene. Too bad we have to skip it. Five Nights at Freddy's is a speedrun. It does. It's a meme. We're not doing it. So, we're actually coming upon our first skip. And this is going to be a weird one, but I can explain why it works. The first skip is a goofy skip. It doesn't have a name, so I've named it Woman's Skip. Sometimes the naming conventions of skips are a lot easier than you think. Anyway, once you're out of here, you're effectively in the main game. This is the main hub. You'll be heading over to the first major area. You kind of just look around. You can grab resources, but we don't really need anything here. But when you hit that tree, it's going to play a little cutscene. Right now, I am actually scrolling my scroll wheel the entire time to kind of mash interact. In order to do Woman's Skip, you want, oh, it's you, and then you can say goodbye. Now, that doesn't look like a whole lot, right? However, what I was doing was I was spamming the interact button the whole time. By mashing interact on the scroll wheel as I enter that cutscene, I talk to woman twice. Now, if you talk to her only once, she will talk to you and give you, like, the lore breakdown. So, like, oh, you need to find the priest. Oh, you need to pray. And, like, she'll have you, like, 12 dialogues. And you lose, like, it's probably like a good 30 seconds or more. However, for some reason, if you mash the interact button, the game assumes you already talked to her, and then it begins prompt 2, where she's like, oh, it's you. And then you tell her, bye. And hey, look, we're out of there. It's kind of funny because you just mash interact, but it's a pretty cool skip. Don't worry, this game has more traditional skips. Now, for setup number 1, Save the game right here. It doesn't matter what slot I always pick 4. You must save the game. Now, these saves aren't safety saves. They're necessary saves, because this speedrun is going to have a bunch of death warping. Obviously, if we need to move around maps, it's going to take a long time. So for us, we want to take not a long time. Anyway, if that guy hits you, it's okay. You need to grab the white gem. It'll be a part of a puzzle later. It's on the immediate body, so nothing to worry there. And we're going down these stairs. Now, whether or not you walk in the light or not, it's up to you. The game's not all too dark, but you want to make sure that you are just kind of going the right way, I guess. As well, while I'm here, I am looting a lot of these things. This is more just safety resources. You don't need everything. Personally, you can just probably go for the sake and the money. But what we're doing down here is we need to gather the 4 color, like, talismans. Out of the way. I just kicked this one down. Just need to get him out of the way. Oh my god, I almost fell. Take the money here. Now, here's where the skip's going to come in handy. One of the color talismans we need is at the bottom of this well. Not at the bottom of the well. In the next area I need to be is back in the main foyer. Remember where I saved the game? That's where the next area I need to be is. So we're going to grab this, and we're going to do something you might see a few times. We're going to die. Death! But fret not, this game has a pretty generous revive system, because when you grab items, you get to keep them. Revive! Revive! Alright, with that, we have revived, and hey, look, the save I made, I am now back up here. We're right back up to the top. And now we can continue to the next area. Now, the first top has a lot of cool stuff, where, like, you go around the map, there's locked doors, and you have to pass a lot of these. Now, like many games in, like, let's say horror, when you make advancements, you can find a door that is locked. We're gonna do a fun trick here. Now, you need an enemy. Depending on the enemy, the strat's gonna change. I didn't get any spawns. You might get a spawn earlier. That's okay. I'm gonna grab both of these things, the money and the pouch, and I'm gonna kick this guy. So you need an enemy. It can be any enemy, but you only need one. Now, oh wait, come back here. Now, depending on who you get, you want... What's he doing? Alright, he figured it out. So, we're going to be going in this closet, and we're going to be blocking until we get an overhead on the right, his right hand. That one right here. Or a kick. You may have noticed, I turned around while that happened. I mentioned earlier, and this is going to sound weird, but my interact button is on the scroll wheel. So while that happens and I get my attack, which was the kick, it's either going to be a strong overhead or a kick. Every enemy has different types. I'll kind of go over what you need, especially later. But for barehanded enemies, you want either a kick or you want a strong overhead. You kind of have to get a feel for it. I probably could have demoed more of the attacks, but one of those two. Anyway, what happened is he hit me hard enough where I was able to go through the wall. And in doing so, I ended up on the other side of a locked door. And I can interact with the locked door. Meaning I am now able to be in this part of the game. Anyway, the answer to this puzzle is always the same. It is this one, followed by this one, followed by this one, followed by this one, and then the next one, which is right here. Now, if you are on a down patch, you can do a cool trick here, where once that turns, you interact with this door, you can skip this cutscene. I don't think it works on current patch. If I'm proving wrong, you can. You would know it works if you can't skip the door cutscene afterward. That being said, this cutscene loses a lot of time, and I've been wanting to down patch this game, but considering people might not know what down patching is, I figured I'd just explain it. This will be the current patch. Funny enough, the down patch will make a lot of things to run easier, like boss fights and mechanics. So, anyway, this will acquire us our next piece. More importantly, with the glitch I did earlier, which we will be demonstrating once again, we actually have something very neat as well. Which is, I'm in a part of the game I am not supposed to be in, which is going to do a lot of things for us. If you played this game casually, you might remember a certain enemy type, which is a ghost that will always spawn after you. Also, it's King's Field Gunner Road. Imagine a Fatal Frame, but King's Field. It's actually really tight. We're not going to get the Pursuer. This game has like a Mr. X enemy kind of thing that, like, you take his idol and then he will always try to kill you. We don't do that. We skip it entirely, so he'll never spawn. But we'll be having our next skip. It's going to be the same thing as the first one. However, this time we are looking for a specific enemy or enemies. Make sure you kill this dog. Can't be alive. Step on its head. Now, either one of these works. You just need one of them to live. You can pick your favorite. Personally, I think I would go with... Actually, I don't really know, because they might not cooperate. So right now, we're going to grab some of these items. We're going to grab a mushroom and some sakes. Anyway, there. I really killed both, didn't I? Huh, okay. Alright, hey, look at that, beautiful. Anyway, don't worry, if you accidentally kill both, like that. Really, both their heads got sliced off in one go, huh? Alright, fun. There we go. Alright, you, follow me. By the way, enemy placement's RNG. Sometimes they spawn there, sometimes you get good enemies, sometimes you get bad enemies. Oh, hey, look, I got an enemy! Much better. Alright, so this is gonna follow us. Our waiting, we're gonna grab a mushroom. We're gonna grab one sake. You notice I can't grab this one, it's on max, but we will be using this one, because this door is locked. The same strat here. Wait, that's actually the hit I wanted, that's fine. So weak hits you don't want. You're not gonna get knocked back. You want a strong hit, which is either gonna be a kick, like that. Get knocked through, smash the interact button, and hey, look at that. I will heal, take the sake, and there we go. So that was a much better time. You gotta see the overhead, you gotta see the kick. Usually the way I do it is if I see them starting to wind up, you're probably golden. And then I always make sure it's coming from their right hand or the left side. Anyway, by doing that twice, I am now in the first major boss of the game, a Boomy. A Boomy strat is going to be something fun. We're going to charge up a strong attack, and then we're just going to slice and we're going to run away. Slice, run away. Now, I want you to take a look at the stamina bar, because that's going to be very important as we do this. Once we hit 0, you will use a mushroom. As long as you have 1, you are fine. That's pretty tight for Stephanie. Like, it's a blast to play casually. These are all the items I grabbed earlier. I grabbed the mushroom pouch when we were getting the first kitchen room. Now, we only have 2 mushrooms and a mushroom pouch and I'm out of stamina. What happens now? You wait for 1 stamina after blocking and rinse and repeat. And the whole boss fights will be very easy this way. Now, things can happen if you're not careful like that, where you can get hit. It's why I'm taking these big dashes. With many things, it is better to play it safe than sorry. If you take damage here, that is okay. We're actually death warping after the fight. Anyway, the fight's almost done. And there's Boomy, first boss of the game done. Make sure you loot the belongings, and before we leave, we need a few more things. When here, 1, you'll be taking this item, it's very important. 2, if you're low on sake, you can take it. If you're low on ginseng, take it. If you don't have it, don't worry, take this ritual essence, and then take all the money. You actually don't care about the armor, and if you want to have a fast strat, you want to break these boxes, you are actually looking for an enemy spawn, like this. I got really good RNG, that is perfect. So, as you can imagine, we're doing exactly what you think. Ready? Say it with me. Boom. Death. Revive. Revive. Boom. And hey, right here we're back. Anyway, the answer is always going to be the same. It's going to be black on the top, which is this one that looks kind of blue. After that, it'll be the other one that looks kind of blue, which is like the bright blue. After that, it'll be red on the bottom. And then it'll be white. Honestly, I'd recommend writing these down in like a clockwise order and it'll probably be fine. But hey, there we go. And now we're entering the second hub. Now, some catches I want to mention. We're pretty weak at the moment. As you play Labyrinth of the Demon King casually, there are so many cool items you can get in this game. A lot of good weapons that are very effective, and different bosses have different weaknesses. We're not going to be using a whole variety of weapons. Keep that in mind. So, what are we going to do? Well, there is a hidden weapon. I actually didn't know this casually, because I mainly used a longer range weapon. But we're not going to the shop even. Right here in this tree stump, if you did not know, there is a Tonto. which the Tonto is a very fast weapon, and that's going to be our main weapon for the run. As well, in this corner, there is a Ritual Essence. We want to make sure we grab these, because this is kind of how you upgrade your, your passive stats. And now we're going to be heading over to the bathhouse. If you are hurting for resources, you can go to the shop and you can buy things with the money. That is more than okay, but that is why we are gathering a lot. Anyway, we're now in the bathhouses. For the bathhouses, we're going to have some strats. One, there is a mushroom pouch right here. You can grab it on the way back if you want. Just make sure you grab it. We start by going upstairs. This is a major puzzle area, and you need different baths. Now, the baths are pretty important, but before the baths, make sure before you enter this area, you equip the Tonto. The Tonto will be our basic weapon here. We're going to be interacting with the shrine. We will be offering stamina and then leaving. Now, the RNG here does depend, but there's a lot of enemies and they want to fight each other, and I don't want to fight them. So your options are 1, you can kill them, or 2, you ignore them. Ideally, though, if enemies are following you and there are a lot of them, you would want to get them to fight each other. Anyway, I don't think I've ever seen that skull here, which is kind of funny. Hopefully he doesn't chase us. Maybe he won't. But you're building up to fighting this guy. This guy must die, and you cannot have any enemies in the area when you hit this point. That was pretty good RNG. All right, that was surprising. Normally, there's a lot more rats that'll fight each other. Also, hey, look, it's Woman from Woman Skip. She's back. She gives us a talisman, and she also gives you the first of the cranks that you'll need. If you're low on health, you can grab this. In fact, what I'll do right now is show that you can use the Ginseng Tea. You get a free top-off right here. You don't need the weapon upgrades because you're never going to use them. I believe that's it for items about, but we'll be looting a few more things. Try not to get hit too much. The skulls are pretty mean. There we go. Now, the most important parts of this run are very easily going to be those mushroom pouches. You kind of saw it earlier during the Abumi fight, but we will be having it here too. Anyway, this is amazing RNG. I didn't know that could happen. Yeah, normally there's a lot more rats and soldiers, and if that happens, you just want to pit them against each other. Which you kind of walk them into each other, and then they'll start hitting each other, which is really good. But I guess we got really lucky, so that paid off. Anyway, once again, we'll be grabbing this talisman. If you are having the need to heal, there's a socket in this room. Just keep that in mind as you go. And the first one we'll be using is on the right, and it'll be this reddish one. I don't know if it's red or orange or brown, but it's brown. All right, this is considered brown, and then we'll be spinning this one. Now, you can only spin one of these at a time. Also, mushroom. Actually, we'll save that mushroom for later. Ah, this is a mushroom. We're doing good. Now, I'm on the current patch, but everything I'm doing should also work on down patch. You just have a few more things to do. So, oh, wait, hold on, I went the wrong way. I zoned out. Sorry about that. By activating the brown pool, we've activated this one right here. And we're just going to go right into this tunnel. Why? This tunnel is going to get us to where I was trying to go. Sorry, muscle memory. I was thinking of a later one. It's kind of zoned out for a second. Yeah, so now we're over here. If you're low on sake, you can grab it here. And we want to grab the mushroom back here. Yes, this is current patch. This is the other bath hall that normally would be locked and you can't actually enter the side. However, for us, it's not going to be a problem. Also, nice, he killed him. That is a menacing man. We're able to get the next rusted wheel. I usually look at this because why not? And then push. I don't even think I have to look at that paper. It's usually a fat finger, but, you know, it doesn't hurt. Also, I do like to pick up the antidote just in case. It'll be right there. And now we have done the loop and we can do the pulls properly. We start on brown, we grab the next wheel, and now we're heading back to the main baths. This area is pretty simple. It's always going to be go to the pool you have to go back to the valves. Go to the pool you have to go back to the valves. Which I will explain each of them. Anyway, the funny part is the next pull we need isn't the one you might assume. It's actually this one. The green one. I don't want mushroom yet. Maybe asking, what did I grab if not the wheel? You grabbed part of a wheel, because you were trying to form, I want to say it is the black wheel. but you need the actual wheel part, and you need the gem part. Right now, we only have the gem, which we got in the back here. Also, ignore this guy. With our entrance, we can now go. Also, these are color-coded if you get lost, so in case you miss the room, we turn the green valve, which will be right over here. As well, we will have a safety resource inside the room on the right here. You just go inside, and hey, look, there's more sake and another mushroom pouch. You're probably gonna be full. If you're not for some reason, reload here. Or not reload, but, you know, re-up. All right, and with that, we got all of the wheel supplies we need, which is really funny because this is the second hub of the game. And, ow, it's hit. This is the second hub of the game. And more importantly, after doing all of that, like what, the maybe 2-3 wheel grabs, we're already getting ready to go to the boss. Because this game's game length is very based on puzzles. Like, you don't really know where you're going, and when you know where you're going, it gets a lot faster. Let's keep in mind, if you get body blocked by enemies, just give them a good old kick. They'll usually get out of the way. Alright, so this time we will be taking the mushroom in case you didn't grab it earlier, and the last one will be in the back here next to this money, which, by the way, you should absolutely grab the money. Oh wait, hold on, I forgot the other thing. During this time, make sure you equip the tea house, and you also want to combine the valve wheel, because you'll need to do that. The tea house equip is going to be very important in a second. It is going to be how we're going to get to the next stage, because walking is slow, and that's going to be much nicer. As well, all you have to do to beat the game is beat a few arena bosses. In fact, you only need to beat 3. Also, let's top off our healing, just because I have it, and we're getting ready for Nupepo. Now, Nupepo is one of the meanest bosses in the entire game. In fact, it might even be recommended you make a save beforehand if you're having trouble, or just have the resources for it. It's hard. We should have a good strat that's been working. I really hope it's going to work. I've been having trouble myself. It is easier in the down patch. However, the best thing to say about Nupepo is arena control. There's also a ginseng tea back there if you need it. He's going to be in this tunnel. And once you're down here, the fight will begin. Nupepo on the current patch will always open with poison. During this time, you're not going to get in there. You can't attack them, they'll take damage. You actually want to kill these guys. He's going to have a couple of bugs. Look down, be very careful on how you kill them. Alright, and now spam the combo. The strategy is always the same here. You will always spam fast attacks, and if you hit 0, mushroom immediately. It does not matter what part of the combo you're in, you must combo. If you hear these guys, get ready to get back out. He's actually poisoning the arena, that's fine. Nupepo's pretty nice that he will actually damage his allies, and we got one more. 2 more. Alright. And let's get back to business. I did that a little bit early, that's okay. But yeah, the upside of this strat is the Tonto does a lot of damage. One more phase ought to do it. Also, consider running around these guys as well if you are in, like, good spot. Do just keep an eye out. If it is not going well, you will absolutely need to play area control. Anyway, Nupepo is now dead, and the fun thing is that talisman you equip, you'll push T for talisman, and we are officially out. And that is Nupepo. And hey, look, there's the merchant. You know about money? It is officially time to spend it. Okay, you're buying every single mushroom in the shop. You're gonna buy mushroom pouches, top on sake if you need it, and we should be good for now. We might get more money later, but that is okay. As well, you're gonna grab the mushrooms out here. There's a lot of mushrooms. Now, I will do this because it's safe, but you don't need to do this. In fact, if you're really trying to gun for time, you wouldn't want to do this. However, this is something very interesting. If you are having trouble, I absolutely recommend it. In fact, we'll do it here just so it's safe. 2 matchas, hot water, and then the grinder will make you matcha tea. I believe this gives you a full heal plus 3 item heals that are unique to matcha. So not only do you have your sake, but you'll have an extra healing item. And now it does not heal a bunch, it heals like 15, but it's still worth it to have. I think it's 3, it could be 2. And, you know, when you're in a bind, it'll come in handy. Alright, yeah, it gives you 3 matchas, and they're going to heal about maybe a total of 1 sake. Alright, at this point, we're now be going to the next area, which is the jail. Now, there is a downside. Every time you go inside the tea house, you do lose your weapons, so you will need to re-equip it. But don't worry, in this case, it's just the Tonto. Yeah, this would be current patch, Joe Mushroom. Alright, so there is a skip you can do here on the down patch. Also, sake, if you need it, it's right here. Now we're in the jail, also known as the Tower of Crushing Assembly. Taking damage is okay, but ideally you do not want to take too much. You do need some. Like, this is probably a fine amount of damage right now. There is a glitch you can do here. You may see it. Do not do this on current patch. The glitch you see on down patch, you'll use a talisman to go back. You'll warp across the room. You can't do it on current patch. You gotta walk around. It's not that much time saved, but I know that doesn't work on current patch. But don't worry, you're just walking across the room. Anyway, before anything else, you can grab this. That's a meat hook, and we're gonna be doing some fun little cheeky routing. So, we're gonna make a save again. You know exactly what happens when we make saves. We're gonna make a prey, slot 4, boom. And we're gonna be going into here. Now, the whole goal of the prison is you need to ring 4 bells. This hallway can be dangerous, so try not to get hit too much. Getting hit once is actually a little bit ideal, but you don't want to get hit more than once. You can die here. It's pretty risky. So, what's the strategy? This is a long room. You're walking straight. Hell, you can count how long you're walking straight. Quite a while. That's bad. Very obviously, yes, that's bad. Why do we care? Well, I made a save, and you may notice there are enemies here. Catch my drift? Probably. Anyway, you're gonna chop down the sky. That is gonna get you the rope. Once you finish this cutscene, you can just start walking back. You don't need to interact with the body or anything there. And we're just gonna find these guys, let them hit us, and we'll be using our ultimate strategy. You know the one. Yeah. Also, an ad might play on Twitch. I'm gonna let it roll automatically as a heads up. I don't think we'll miss the jailer fight as a heads up. Revive! Revive! I'll let it roll automatically, okay? In case you want to avoid the ads, sub to the channel, Climb Gaming, alright? I'll probably play in about a minute here. Anyway, we revived, and now we're back here. But, as I mentioned, this game's pretty cool where you get to keep all your items. So, all we have to do is go downstairs. Also, you don't need to ever fight that guy, you ignore him entirely. And hey, if you may be wondering, what's down here? That's an excellent question. Also, you could have gone the other way, it's fun. And you go into the hole, and then you can use the Hangman's Hook. Also, usually going left in the inventory is going to be faster. And now I got a key. Now you may be wondering, what's this key go to? You stay on the stairs, but this time you're going all the way up. Because this is going to get us the major key of the area, which you need before the puzzle. Right in here, in this chest, you have a bell hammer. Now, the bell hammer, we don't care about it as a weapon. However, it is a key item you must have. We're going to be going to the 4 bell locations in this game. This is the first one. You may have noticed it already. It's a bell. There we go. We will be using some revives again. This is probably the area we death warp the most because traveling around the jail takes a lot of time. We're actually not going to do the one down here yet. We will be doing this one though. And then we'll be going out this door to grab the talisman. You don't, again, this is mostly a safety thing. If you're doing pretty good or you feel like you're pretty good with talismans, you don't need to grab these. And then the way I remember this part is I always go right. Like, whenever I can go right, I go right. And that's how this part works pretty well. And then once you pass, like, there'll be like a little, like, gate you'll see in a moment here. Like, this opening right here. There's stairs. And let it be known, at the end of this hall, as shocking as it might sound, there's a bell. There's also a lot of enemies here, which might be good for us. Now, obviously, you know exactly what we're about to do. At this point, if you've been watching me run this long, you're fully aware. Before anything else, though, 1, talisman, 2, there's a ritual incense back here. Now, just pick a fight. Have fun. Doesn't matter who kills you, you just need to die. You get taken to the bone zone. The death bone zone. Or should I say, the revive zone. 5. Revive. Home. Alright, now we're back. Actually, hold on. Before we leave, I actually will be using the incense for a better fight coming up, because that actually does save a bit of time there. And we're going to be entering the boss fight. So we're not going to revive this time, because the boss is on that platform. And the last bell is in this hallway. So all you gotta do is walk down this hallway. That skeleton always spawns here, by the way. Usually won't hit you, it's for the others. And that is all the bells. Oh, back on. Let's see here. Alright, now for the boss fight. The Tonto is going to be our best friend. There is something to keep in mind. He will always summon one skeleton. Let him summon it. And it should probably be behind me. And block him. So, you are going to be going for quick attacks, and you keep the skeleton on the other side. Manage the skeleton, manage your stamina. Do not hit 0. Do not let that skeleton hit you. But as long as you keep the dance up, you'll be fine. Alright, this is okay. Could be a little cleaner, I think. Alright, a little bit rusty, but that's okay. Hold on. And that is the jail fight. Down and easy. Anyway, at this point, I actually recommend that you, if you are, you know, starting off, I would heavily recommend coming back to the shop really quick. I believe you should have a little bit more money, maybe, or you can probably buy a mushroom or two. It's definitely worth it to go here and buy mushrooms if you ran out. Yeah, no, at this point, if you need to heal. You are on the final boss. You have all the stuff you need. You're almost done. And the final boss will actually be in this door. We are actually very close to the end. Re-equip the Tonto. Get your stuff ready. And, yeah, no, we are actually approaching the final boss. Oh, wait, wrong button, wrong button! Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Don't do that! Remember, your talisman's on T. I was looking for my torch. That's fine. I was going to sum up. You'll be doing good. Alright, yeah, this door right here leads you to the finale. It does not matter the order you put him in. Just, you know, get him in there. At this point, you will have almost all of them. The only bosses you need to defeat are Obumi, Nupepo, and the Jailer. And with that, we are entering the Tower of No Interval. Now, there is no speed tech here. You're running up the stairs. Enjoy the song. And we can talk about the final boss. Now, I believe on the down patch, 1, you do more damage, so it's a little easier. 2, I think you can hit him more. Like, I think his AI is easier, too. Now, this is the current patch, so this is gonna be a lot harder. So, I have devised a strat, and I will kind of point out what you need to keep in mind. In fact, I'm doing a lot right now, because I need to lock in. There is a big downside to this run, where it can get kind of rough, depending on how you play the game. Notably, if you're playing this game, and you try, what's the word? Your resources are going to run out. Remember, whenever you revive, you lose your resources. Maybe make a save, I'm pretty sure SOL. I guess in theory you could reload the save, but yeah, you need all your resources you gather at this point. I kind of wish I had an extra mushroom pouch, well, okay. I know, chat, I post Bone Zone for a Bone Zone. Or, how about a Dicey Fire for the No Winter Build, if you have it. Yes, the Demon King is very hard. The attack we actually want to look out for is just whenever he starts raising his staff, you need to start dodging. You need to dodge. Very important. He will fire, I think it's called the Rot at you. If it gets too high, you must secure it because you'll go too slow. He also hits like a tank and we don't have a lot of health. So if you ever think, oh, I can tank one more hit, do not. Also, I wasn't kidding when I said it, you literally just run up the tower. As they would say, this is a good time for donations. Ha 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 ha. The elevator? Yep, that's what they call it. We should be up. There we go. Alright, you get the ritual incense, you get ginseng tea. If you need it, you need it. And take the purifying essence. Before you go into the fight, definitely offer the essence. And just in case, let's make a save. Alright, now it is time for the final boss. There he is, this is the Demon King. He's gonna engage you in dialogue, you're gonna ignore it. Remember the strategy. You're mainly gonna do attacks, like it's gonna be attack, block, block. Or sorry, you'll see. Let him come to us. It's getting a little bit scuffed. Alright, so I got a skull, right? If you get a skull, oh my god! What? Oh my god, what was that? Oh my, he gave me the hardest hard mode I've ever seen. Alright, luckily for me, I didn't take any. That's fine. Not the end of the world. That's how you make the save. My god, what a hard mode. Alright, good news. I didn't use any actual resources for the fight. Let's try that one again. Yeah, no, he kind of got out of hand. I just kind of dropped one too many inputs myself. Alright. Skeleton's hitting me. This is the rod I was talking about. Nice. So it's kind of funny because the skeleton's actually our friend. That's fine. Yeah, so you may have noticed the big strategy here is the skeletons attack him. It's mostly clean. And the Demon King is dead. All right, there we go. Sorry about that. Got a little bit hazy. General thing, by the way, he's a menace. You have no stats, you have no resources, and you need literally everything. Like I kind of said earlier, I did have a little bit of a boon there with the whole, the matcha. Hey, the matcha helped. I pretty much only used matcha healing early. A lot of the mushrooms came later, and honestly, it was not a bad fight on the second round. I did like get a little out of control. Really, the general idea is you want to kind of keep your combo going, and then when you attack, you block. I know it sounds simple. If you're wondering, oh, how did you mess up? He blocked my first hit somehow. I think he, like, kicked me. Kicking is something they can do. I just got RNG'd. Anyway, time ends on that. I got an actual PB. I got a gold on the Demon King. The Demon King. And, yeah, that is Labyrinth of the Demon King. Now, if you would like to save more time, obviously this run wasn't perfect, however, it goes over a lot of the things. 1. Enemies cannot... Wait. Down patch. You need to be on the down patch. A lot of what you do requires the down patch. There's certain teleport skips, bosses are faster, there's cutscene skips. Like I mentioned, the Hangman puzzle's a big one. Ogumi, every boss takes more damage. If bosses feel too hard and they look easier on like the leaderboard times, that might be why. I don't know how leaderboard exactly works these days, but this is current patch. And a lot of these strats will probably stay as the game continues to update. Anyway, yeah, I actually did the whole thing. I'm surprised, only 1 death, and I got robbed. But I think the skeleton strat's pretty good, especially if the fight starts going wrong. I think what World Record does on the down patch is you just keep attacking him because you do so much damage. But yeah, I hope y'all enjoyed. If you're watching this on YouTube, remember to like, comment, and subscribe. You can ask about more games, and I plan on learning 30 new games. Maybe I'll learn something new. Maybe you'll see more of these.